I'm Jim with Liftall, and in this video we're going to explain how to properly inspect your synthetic-based slings. To begin with, let's review the correct inspection schedule. This consists of an initial inspection, frequent inspection, and periodic inspection. A designated person needs to perform the initial inspection, which is given to any new, altered, modified, or repaired slings prior to use. After the initial inspection, frequent inspection should be carried out before each use using the removal criteria we'll discuss later in this video. The third scheduled inspection is a periodic inspection. This inspection should be regularly scheduled based on the frequency of the sling use, the severity of the conditions, nature of lifts, and the experience gained on the service life of slings used in similar circumstances. Periodic inspection should not exceed an interval of 1 year. This inspection should also be performed by a designated person. While this person does not need to be a representative of the sling manufacturer, it should be performed by somebody other than the person performing the frequent inspection. A written record must be kept of the most recent periodic inspection. Liftall recommends using documentation similar to what is shown here. Now that we've explained the proper sling inspection schedule, let's review some of the specific signs of damage you should be looking for that could indicate a severe reduction to the integrity of the sling. When inspecting web slings, I first examine the tag. Is the tag legible? Does it contain all the information that is required? If so, I continue on with my inspection. If the warning label is illegible or cut, Liftall recommends replacing that sling. I then look for broken stitching, burn, tears, punctures, surface cuts, or edge cuts. If the sling contains any of those or excessive abrasion, the sling needs to be removed from service. A lift should never be performed with a knotted sling. If there is a knot that I am unable to get out, that sling needs to be removed from service. Lastly, if your web sling is faded or brittle, it may have damage from UV light. This commonly occurs with slings that are used in outdoor applications or slings that are improperly stored. Additionally, if any of the following forms of damage are visible, the sling should be immediately removed from service. If there are any evidence of heat or chemical damage, if the metal fittings are cracked, deformed, pitted, corroded, or excessively worn, if the hook throat opening increases by more than 15% or is twisted out of plane by more than 10 degrees, if red core warning yarns are exposed, if any other damage is found that causes doubt as to the sling strength. Next, we'll review the removal criteria specific to synthetic round slings. If any of the following forms of damage are visible, the sling should be immediately removed from service. When I begin the round sling inspection, I first look at the tag. Is the tag legible? Does it contain all the information required? If it does, I continue with my inspection with the sling. If it doesn't, I remove the sling from service. After I look at the tag, I'm going to look for knots. If I find a knot in the sling and I can't pull that knot apart, I need to remove the sling from service. A lift should never be performed with a knotted sling. I'm now looking at the jacket. There are 2 layers of the jacket to protect the interior core yarns. If I find any areas where there is a cut or a hole and I'm able to see any of the white interior core yarns, that sling fails inspection and needs to be removed from service. If the cut only penetrates the outer layer, the round sling still passes inspection and can be used. If I find a burn in the sling, even if it's only to the outer layer, I have to make an assumption. I should assume that there is heat damage to the interior core yarns as well. Internal heat damage can be identified when the internal core fibers have a brittle feeling or contain abnormal lumps. Additionally, if any of the following forms of damage are visible, the sling should be immediately removed from service. If there are any embedded particles or materials in the cover sleeve, if any core yarn is broken or damaged, this includes the evidence of substantial reduction of the core yarn in any area of the round sling, or substantial accumulation of core yarn are apparent within the round sling. If metal fittings are cracked, deformed, pitted, corroded, or excessively worn, if the hook throat opening increases by more than 15% or is twisted out of plane by more than 10 degrees. If any other damage is found that causes doubt as to the sling's strength. When inspecting each sling, the inspector should assess the cumulative effects of all the damage when determining whether a sling passes or fails. Generally speaking, when the total damage to the sling equates to a loss of strength of 20% compared to new, it should be removed from service. Here at Liftall, we take the inspection of our slings extremely seriously. We suggest taking a conservative approach to sling inspections and remove them from service if there are any questions as to the integrity of the sling. Liftall is a trusted name for quality lifting and rigging solutions. Whether it's a standard item or something requiring custom engineering, Liftall is here for you. For more information, visit www.lift-all.com or contact us at 800-909-1964.